the very first place you need to go is Wano. Moving forward, that's the first row. The second row is a little bit interesting. Talking about Wano, it's a good segue to the next row. The next row, I have Momonosuke. See, Momonosuke's role is very interesting because it actually can be much higher. Oh, my headphone. It can be much higher, but for now, I want to leave it at that until we get more of like the Wano lore. And by Wano lore, I mean Yamato's cover story. See, with Momonosuke, he read Onin's journal, and he found out not only did I read his journal, I have the voice of all things. I can communicate with Zunisha. I'm the Shogun of Wano. I am my dad's son, has Kaido's Devil Fruit, and on top of all of that, he realized he has to be the one to bring the Dawn to the New World. He cannot die. And with all that being said, now we know that Joy Boy was this, and that Luffy is that, Sanganika, or, you know, the Sanganika fruit. How is Momo the one to bring the Dawn to the New World? What is his role in this? Like, where in the story is Momonosuke? Is he a D-Clan member? He's not, for all we know, he's not even a D-Clan member. He didn't even know how to read the poneglyphs. Obviously, he's going to be taught by Sukiyaki now, but there's a lot of things that you're like, okay, so Momo, like, why is he so important? What makes him so important now? So that question alone has a lot of stake in the game, because not only is he important, he is the shogun of the place that's protecting the ancient weapon Pluton. He's also the place that has samurai that the world government fears, or at least don't know about too much about, or the Marines fear. So now he's in a very interesting situation where he has so much riding on him, but he doesn't know where he needs to write that check to. But because he needs to write that check, he will remain right there, right on that line. Because if he wanted to take to the seas, him and the samurai with Zunisha, yeah, they racking up them pine really quick. But you know, he's underneath Luffy right now, but we move. Next is the races. I didn't know I didn't know what picture to put, but the races of One Piece. The new races of One Piece hold immense, and I mean immense, importance in the story. From Fishman all the way back to now, Shirahoshi's literally an ancient weapon, right? We have the Minks. Zunisha, you don't have to say Zunisha is an ancient weapon, but Zunisha has the power to topple an entire country and an island like that if they wanted to, right? You have Lunarians. Yes, King was a sole Lunarian, but now we have Seraphim, who are meant to be the strongest beings in the One Piece world. Yes, they're young right now, but hey, you never know. With Bonnie around, with Shinobu around, that can change very quickly, right? With Buccaneers now being very interesting and another like talking point, with Giants being in and out, like all these races are slowly starting to play a big part in what's going on in the world. With even the situation with Saturn talking to Dorian Broggy when they're running with Luffy and saying like, oh, you're friends with Luffy. Giants being with Sun God or being with Joy Boy is very interesting, but like I don't want you to call him by that name right now, because if you guys only knew the name XYZ, like they're showing the importance with Joy Boy and the Giants. We have the importance with Lunarians, overall strength. We see the relationship with Fishman Island being part of Fishman Island literally having an ancient weapon, and I already talked about the Minks as well, right? And the thing about the Minks is it's very possible that the Minks are the ones to be able to power Pluton. I know it's very far-fetched, but as we saw with the Arc Maxim, I know powered it. Can the Minks power Pluton? It's very interesting because now we know that Uranus is powered by flame. We know that Poseidon is the one that controls the Sea Kings. So what is Pluton controlled by? We'll wait and see. Is it just powered by just man? Like, can just man do this? Who knows? Even Frankie looked at the blueprints like, men built, like, I don't think people can build this. How is this even possible? So the races, gotta pay attention to them. You never know. And now we have Sabo. Sad D-boy. See, the thing about Sabo is that he's related to Luffy. As soon as you're related to Luffy, you get points. It's just how it is. Ace got points because of it. Garp gets points because of it. Dragon gets points because of it. We don't have a single feat for Dragon, but guess what? He is Luffy's father, so he gotta be something. Right? We know Garp was a hero before Luffy was a pirate, but guess what? Once we found out that Garp was Luffy's grandfather, we're like, oh, yo, he ain't that's someone to mess with, right? But Sabo, not only being related to Luffy, was also the face, right? Currently, the big face, the one that's like in the now, right now, people will know and hear his name. His name is ringing through the kingdoms. The Flame Emperor Sabo, right? He wasn't there for Ace's death, but here he is now, leading the revolutionaries against the world government in a situation where now the entire world knows the truth about what's going on. So the revolutionaries, their stake and their stocks continue to rise, and the person leading those is Sabo. We may get a situation where Sabo fights Akainu. I know that whole thing was talked about, but Sabo right now has big plans and big things to take care of, right? And there's a lot of importance on his character, even though his character right now is very like in limbo as well. It's like, could he be that important? Could he be that important? He should be that important, right? Is Akainu his end goal? Is overturning the world government his end goal? Like, what is Sabo? Sabo just another piece, another character to battle of a character, right? Is Sabo just this powerful figure that's Dragon's right-hand man who's just gonna fight the next big bag underneath Dragon? Who knows? But Sabo is a very interesting spot because he is the Flame Emperor now, and he's also noted to be the Yonko's brother. Hold on to that. And Bonnie. Can't say enough about Bonnie, right? Bonnie's only 12 years old, but has a powerful devil fruit that can basically make her Nika basically make her Nika himself, but also has the power to control an army that can level countries. The Pacifista. All the Pacifista now, if Bonnie's in the area, yeah, they're listening to her. And let's not forget one of the most strong, like I said, races. Let's not forget the strongest being the S-Bear, right? I don't know if it's the strongest, but I'm saying he is one of the Seraphim. And Bonnie can control that one too, because Vegapunk said, I will never make someone who looks like Kuma harm you. So you have control of everyone who has Kuma's likeness. That means all the Pacifistas, well, besides Seraphim, but the one Seraphim that will listen to Bonnie is S-Bear. And with that kind of power, can you imagine? And now couple that with the likes of the revolutionaries. Wouldn't it be interesting? Bonnie going essentially to where Ginny started, the revolutionaries. Makes sense. But with that, we move.